50 crazy bullet dodged moments, according to Reddit. Number 50. Skip class to watch a segment on a morning talk show with my favorite actor. I avoided a school shooting. Had I gone, I would have been in the cafeteria right when the shooter started his spree. Well, those were literally bullets dodged. That's the last thing I expected. Give me a second to resize this thing. Doesn't seem at all proper on the side of the screen here. That seems a little better. Maybe even move it over a little bit more. That's good. Powerful Gonzo, professional commenter Sean Watson, Sarah Bishop, everybody says hello, hello. Faith said something, but then redacted her message. So let's go to 49. Worked for a campus PD, which I was in while I was in college. I had been unsuccessfully flirting a bit with one of our part-time clerks who was a mother twice over at 22 years old. Living in Section 8 housing, etc. Not a bad thing in and of itself, just providing some context. My long-term girlfriend had bounced a few months back, so I had thrown myself into my work and was advancing quickly in the department, well enough that I had a salaried slot on the horizon. Feeling good about things in general, and I figured I'd just roll with it, and she suddenly started giving me the time of day. Had our first big night of romance coming on a Saturday night when I got a text from OFC Derp that just said, "Cancel now, we'll talk to you later." Okay. I wasn't sure what the fuck was up, but I did just that. I called her up on the spot and said, "Sorry, problem with my car. No way I could get it to the shop and out in time for the date." She didn't have a car. A few hours later, I swing by the police department, and he told me what happened. She had worked earlier in the day and was at the front desk, not realizing Officer Derp was in the squad room. You can hear conversations up there, and he overheard her on her cell phone talking to one of her girlfriends about how she is going to get paid tonight, girl. Followed by, "No, I'm only like 5 weeks. He won't be able to tell because the dates will be close." And for those of you who aren't aware of what was going to happen here, the girl in the story was going to try and trick the guy that she was going to sleep with into thinking that the baby was his. What a slut. Jesus Christ, man. Takes a special caliber of woman, huh? To just be pawning off babies on would-be baby daddies. It's the scariest thing in the world, man. Wrap it up, guys. Even so, they can still try to trick you. Get a DNA test, I don't know. Be sure about these ladies. Ugh. Number 48. I went on a date with a girl I worked with. She was cute, but there were red flags. Some obvious, some not so much. She had been in jail and had an ankle monitor. That was probably the biggest red flag, but other than that, she just seemed a little off. Things fizzled easily enough between us. No harm, no foul. We didn't even do anything that made life at work awkward. Oh. Well, a coworker starts dating her, and before too long, both of them weren't working there anymore for unrelated reasons. We end up finding out later she murdered the guy. She stabbed him like 20 to 30 times in the back with a kitchen knife. I was very sad. He was a good guy and definitely didn't deserve to go out like that. I learned this all secondhand from mutual friends of her after I had lost contact. This lady straight killed this dude. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look, man, let's get through this because I could be interrupted any minute here. Number 46. My family had lived in Dallas for my formative years, but around 20 they packed up and moved back to San Antonio, where I was born, took me closer to family. Initially, I followed them and transferred colleges, but after almost 2 years of unhappiness, it became apparent that this wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a good fit for me, and I wanted to move back to Dallas. Being incredibly close to my family, it was a difficult choice, but once I knew I needed to... No, one I knew I needed to make. Motherfuck, you son of a... Flash forward a few months. I'm back in Dallas in a small studio apartment and re-enrolled in my original university. Having lived with a loud, boisterous family for 22 years means the silence of living alone is unsettling. I watch Sex and the City on repeat for the background noise until I literally kill the DVD player and have to replace it. I start reconnecting with friends I had not seen in a few years, including my first love and boyfriend. He's elated I'm back and puts the moves on hard to get me to agree to date him again. I have a really fond place for him in my heart, and I'm not opposed, but I needed time to get adjusted to being independent and living alone. He's understanding and patient. God, you can tell a woman wrote this. Get to the fucking point. For about 2 weeks before he tells me if I won't date him, he has another girl interested, he should go date her. Oh my God, a little annoyed at the tactic, but supportive nonetheless. I tell him he should do what makes him happy. I then hear nothing from him for about 6 months. Our birthdays are a few days apart, and when I call him for our yearly birthday call, he says he's been meaning to talk with me, that he's going to be a daddy. Well, we saw that coming a mile away. The girl he dated got pregnant, and now he's getting married and starting a family. I asked if he loved her, and he said no, but he was stupid, so he had to make it right. I got off the call and thanked the stars that my little barely adult brain was smart enough to prioritize myself and well-being above being pressured to do something I wasn't ready for. What, have a fucking kid? Just because you're gonna date this guy didn't mean that he was gonna pump you full of anything unless you were stupid enough to bung him up without some of that protection, baby. You know, for extra results, kids, both of you should have a form of protection. You know what I'm talking about? Just a little bit. You take the pill, he wrap it up. He wrap it up, you take the pill. Hello, Sedasia, Kiki, Sarah, Luna, everybody. I hope you're having a decent day. In the stream chat, try your best not to turn the chat into some sort of duck discussion. All right? Come on, don't do it. Number 45, I dated this guy briefly in college. He got into a horse riding accident early on in the relationship. The horse fell on him, broke his ankle, pelvis, and hip. Jeez. Apparently had a prior addiction to painkiller pills, and I was completely oblivious to this. He quickly relapsed and turned into a crazy-ass, pill-popping psycho. Tried sticking it out and helping the guy. I did my best and I couldn't handle it. When I told him I was done with the relationship, he proceeded to call me the worst names in the world, begged me to forgive him, and then tried to ask me to come hang out after he called me the biggest slut in town. What the excuse me. Let's try that one again. What the fuck? He then started meth and has been involved in a hit and run accident. The guy he hit died. My ex moved the body, fled the scene, dumped his truck in the parking lot, and had a surveillance camera in it. Well, he did get caught for it. Talk about a bullet dodged. I've had some pretty crappy relationships apparently. It's just when you fuck with the people who are on the drugs that are taking like choice out of their, you know what I mean? You're not dating a person anymore. You're dating you might as well be dating multiple people, because if they don't know how they're gonna get when they're on pills or they're getting drunk, then how can you know? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm talking about? Number 44, saying bullet dodged really downplays the seriousness of this situation. Whoa, you can tell this isn't a pregnancy story. When I was in my early 20s, I went out to a bar with some friends one night. My friend was double D. I guess that means double dating. What? You know, for all that I know, that could mean that the woman just had a pair of double D titties and like she was just a pair of walking titties to this guy. So let that image just sit in all of our heads while we continue the story. And I was drinking. Designated driver. Okay, contextually, that's what it means. Oh, man. Designated driver, of course. How did that slip my mind? Well, my friend was a designated driver and I was drinking. I had a very solid buzz going on and I bumped into someone I knew from high school who was clearly flirting with me. I ended up leaving my friends and catching a cab back to her apartment. The next morning, I found out my friend, who was supposed to be designated driver, got drunk, then behind the wheel. He ended up getting into an accident, and while no one had any critical injuries, there were a few broken bones, etc. I could have very easily have been in that car. Instead, I had sex with my now wife. Talk about fate. I've got fate. Hello, Faith. It's nice to see you in the chat. I'm sorry we can't talk more. Faith said that was over 10 years ago, so I can't tell you what happened. What is she talking about? Faith says, okay, she delivered an anecdote that she calls duck duck lube, and I'm not going to repeat it, but not because I don't find it amusing. It's in the interest of time. Number 43. I love this story because there's like a tinge of selfishness in it, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, come on, I don't want to be in the car with you when you're driving drunk and then getting into a wreck. Jeez. Number 43. I ran out of fuel once. Normally, that wouldn't be so bad, but I was flying a Cessna 152 over the Mojave Desert at the time. It's really not a bad glider. I had to land on the highway. The landing went perfectly. The CHP pilot, with whom I was in communication during my unpowered descent, landed at the nearby airport and brought me 10 gallons of AV gas. I climbed on the wing and dumped it in. The CHS blocked off both ends of the road for use as a runway, and I took off into the sunset. A happy ending. An incredible anecdote. I ran out of fuel in my plane once, had to land that bitch on the highway. They came, gave me fuel, and I flew that bitch off in the sunset. Baby. I'd want YouTube videos of that, if possible. Just show that to all of the douches who come over to play some stupid card game on a Friday night. Number 42. I knocked my girlfriend up, was supportive, and told her that I'd take care of her and the baby. She decided we weren't ready to... Oh, so we got an abortion. A week later after, she found out that she had... Oh, a week later, I found out she'd been cheating on me. Definitely the type to use said child as a weapon, too. Well, what are children but props to parents? You guys don't know? That's Parenting 101. These children are props. Tools in your fight against what you deem evil. Number 41. I had a coworker who was an avid runner. I like where this is going. He was really thin and in good shape, and I ran into him in public with his family for the first time. He was with an obese woman who looked to be much older than him. After greeting him, I stupidly, naively, was 2 seconds away from saying, "And this must be your mom?" before he cut me off and said, "I'd like you to meet my wife, Laura." Well, it's not that bad. It wouldn't have been that bad. He got caught in it. This is like a today I almost fucked up. Love it. I love this. What's going on in the comment section? You people better be behaving. Especially since I put all the women in charge, you know what I mean? What a comedic situation I've established in the stream chat. The women have the power to ban you. Oh, tread lightly, guys. Number 40. I got dumped by my ex. Like a typical movie, sad at the time, very antisocial dude. Like a typical movie, sad at the time, very antisocial dude, I was sad and depressed because I had been dumped. Quite the sentence you've crafted there. Shakespeare. After all, I had been dumped for another man, so I did have a feeling of not just being good enough. Okay, you mean just not being good enough. instead of being in a relationship that didn't work out. After a while, she starts sending more messages. We talk a bit. Suddenly, we start fighting. She was the first one I had opened up to and told my thoughts deep down. Did a 12-year-old write this? Would it? I hid for everyone else and she threw them back in my face in the most hurtful manner. I was shocked. First woman, huh? When I reflected about it and realized that she had been doing it during our entire relationship, we'd have an argument, I'd present my points of view in a calm manner, and she'd just suddenly fling shit to wind me up. Later, found out she had also lied to me about her age and was just barely legal when we hooked up. Treated myself to a nice pizza and had a good bottle of scotch to celebrate the dodged bullet. Well, something tells me you'll just find a way to cuck up your next friggin' relationship by finding some other idiot who's incapable of seeing reason. Because that's what you're all about. Some people want to be bullied. Hey, to each their own. Just don't drag other people into that. Like a kid. You know what I mean? Keep that dysfunction to yourselves. You raise more dysfunctional brats, they'll go out to mess up the world. Number 39. I was making a day trip in Colorado to do some sightseeing. You know how it is. It was just me and the dog, driving a few hours over Wolf Creek Pass. I felt a little off and stopped up near the top of a pass to get some fresh air at a waterfall. I figured I was just sleepy, and at that altitude, I decided to actually hike the mile round trip to the falls and wake up a bit. On the way back down the trail, I had a seizure. If I hadn't stopped, I would have been coming down the pass when it happened. People who have seizures freak me the fuck out, man. I thought he was gonna say, I had a seizure. If I had been behind the wheel of the car, I probably would have crashed and killed myself, which is a very plausible thing and practical that can actually happen. But he was just like, man, if I was walking down that hill a couple of seconds earlier, I'd have fucking fell down that bitch, man. I had a seizure. I was all like, You know what I'm talking about? Here's the thing. I know that it's unreasonable for people who may seize out to be constantly under the supervision or in the midst of other people who possibly might help them, but jeez, man. Maybe we should designate a colored shirt to all of the people who have seizures. Is that ridiculous? That's borderline nonsensical. Number 37. I had a type of bone cancer. Damn. It's called Ewing sarcoma. When I was 10, it usually shows up in the bone itself, which usually makes one lose whichever limb the bone is in. That sucks. Mine, fortunately, started in the surrounding flesh and was working its way towards the bone. The tumor grew so fast that I only realized when I bumped my leg against a rock that I should not have hit. The tumor was about the size of a softball. Because of finding it like this, we got to it early enough that it could be removed before it reached the bone. I still got 9 months of chemo to make sure it was all removed though. I kept my leg, although I have a large scar on the outside of my left leg above the knee running to mid-thigh and a large dip in the same area. Also have some kidney damage relating to the type of chemo that they gave me. Although things are looking up there, this May I was 6 years cancer-free, and I would have lost my leg, and we wouldn't have been able to catch that later. That's very good. I'm happy for this guy. You know, as we travel up this list, which I am most certainly not going to be able to finish before I get pulled away here, but I would imagine there's just so many stories of like women trying to baby trap a guy, and then people just barely missing drunk encounters, So 36. I'm on a temp job and I'd made several hours of corrections on a long document saving version after version. When I finished, I deleted all of the extra copies and emptied the trash, only to realize that the copy I saved was the untouched original. It was a busy office, but as my heart sank, someone announced, "Everyone stop what you're doing. We just lost funding on the project. You'll be paid through the day, but you're free to go." Well, you know, who knows which bullet that this guy dodged he's talking about, you know. Number 35, someone simply says, I didn't re-enlist. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that fantastic? This text isn't formed up properly. Let's move it right there. Fantastic. Hello, Zelamar. It's Harry himself. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you guys are having a fantastic time. I'm in the throes of decorating my room, but I don't know what to do properly. So I'll probably just throw PayPal money at like lights, camera, action. As we travel up the list of 50 crazy bullet dodged moments, we arrive at number 33. New teacher started at my high school at the start of the year. Integrated fine. Students were assigned a pair of teachers to pay special attention to their academic needs. He was one of mine. Because of this, he knew I had a tense relationship with my parents because of the occasional sensitive material we covered in English class, which I also took. He knew I had a telling sensitivity to sexual violence. As a teacher, he knew I was a troubled kid with a shaky support network. He gave me off-base but evidently well-intentioned advice about managing my controlling parents, worked with me and my other overseeing teachers to try and make my school less nightmarish for me, and overall seemed like a warm, engaging guy. He gave some people the willies, but I felt fine around him. Then, middle of the week a few months into the year, and he doesn't show up. We're told he's not employed there anymore. No official details. As you may have guessed, turned out he had an alleged history of sexually abusing at his past jobs as a teacher, man. Fuck me. I don't know how it's been handled, but they were able to find out anything and get, come on now. Ugh, pretty awful. But this kid got lucky, apparently. Me and any other kids that he might have been charming. Look, man. What is Faith saying? Faith says, why would you get rid of Beanie Babies? Yeah, send me your Beanie Babies, guys. Make it happen. Unless they don't have tags. Or they're just suddenly worthless to you if you don't have the tags for the Beanie Babies. Come on, guys. I respect Beanie Babies with or without tags. Hashtag, not my Beanie Baby. I'm kidding. Number 32. Lived outside of St. Louis in my early childhood, woke up screaming in the worst pain of my life, and then felt my face get sprinkled with something. I actually got shot in the hip. And when I sat up, a bullet went through my window right where my head was just at. And what sprinkled me in the face was tiny pieces of glass. So I dodged a literal bullet by taking a bullet. I think this one wins. I don't think anybody's going to support it. You know what I mean? People have been voting up other ones to this is only 32, but I don't think anyone's going to be, dodging a bullet by taking a bullet. You're in pain, so you recoil from the shot that you've been hit, and then a bullet goes through something else. Come on there. Well, number 31. I work in IT, network security for a medium retail company. Medium being the amount of money that it makes. You know what I'm talking about? Someone mentioned finding a flash drive in an envelope in the mail. You wouldn't believe the sigh of relief when I managed to get a hold of it right before management decided to try plugging it into their terminal. For those wondering, manglement isn't a typo. I intended to say it that way to accurately describe how things were with said individuals in management. He's right. I auto-corrected manglement when I saw it because it was like, oh, okay, that's not the word that I'm guessing that you meant contextually. But it must adequately describe what he considers to be a whole bunch of morons at the top of the company. So, yeah. People are crazy, man, mailing around viruses and things that'll compromise networks in a pen drive. But I guess it's no more evil than, Facebook trying to get all your privacy details, right? Funny stuff. Number 30. Back when I was young and impressionable, someone stopped me on the street and asked if I'd like to do a free personality test. After enthusiastically filling out the questions to a long list of probing questions, the person who'd approached me asked how old I was. Since I was under 18, they said that they'd have to get a parent's permission to give me my results, so they call my mom, who tells me to stick their test up their ass, or words to that effect, then proceeds to give me an extended talking to about trusting strange people with my personal information. And that's how I learned who the Church of Scientology was. I figured they were trying to test your thetan levels. But yeah, this is a pretty up there dodge bullet as well. It's not going to get scarier than Scientology. Number 28. Almost married a Marine and then found out 6 months later that he was court-martialed for getting wasted, having sex right off base, and then went AWOL. Yeah, he landed in jail. I mean, the funny thing is, every Marine is probably doing that, or anybody that's stationed anywhere. Just not being able to keep it together enough to not get court-martialed seems insane. Keep it together. We should do a list where we talk about all the wartime rape, as if that we'd have enough time in the world. Number 26. I had my police car pulled over off the side of the rural road with the emergency lights on. I had stopped because there was a man splayed out in the middle of the asphalt, and turns out he was super drunk and decided to take a nap during his walk home. I had just helped him to his feet and placed him in the back of the car to drive him home when I hear an engine revving hard. I close the car door and straighten up just in time to have my car smashed out from in front of me by a pickup truck. I felt the truck's side mirror clip my body armor. The driver was drunk and had decided to go looking for his drunk friend. That friend was the guy I picked up. The guy in the back seat survived the impact because those old Crown Victorias have massive trunks. The driver went to the hospital, and in the coming months, he pled guilty to impaired driving. I remember the collision analysis showed that the guy hit my car at over 145 kilometers an hour. It was a wild night, and I still have major hang-ups when I have to stop my police car on roadways. Whatever it takes to give you the kick in the ass to make you a little more cautious, baby. Number 25. Went on a date once with a photographer from a cousin's wedding. Okay. You want me to say that again? I'm kidding. Why is Sean leaving? Sean says, I gotta go. My 4-year-old want to play with me. Aw. Have fun being a great dad, Sean. This guy's a great dad. That's what all the girls respect in the chat. That's what all the girls respect in the chat. I can be daddy. All right, I just wrote something ridiculous in the stream chat, as usual. Number 25, on the list of 50 crazy bullet dodged moments. Went on a date with a photographer from my cousin's wedding. I was in the wedding party, so we spent much of the day chatting, and he was good looking and amicable, so I figured why not. We went for coffee, and it was perfectly pleasant. We chatted about the usual stuff. He told me more about his upcoming photo tour of Europe. Nothing unusual, but nothing special either. Got an awkward one-armed hug at the end, and he said we'd get in touch when he was back, which was about 4 months' time. What, is he gay? 4 months came and went, and I just let it go. It had been pleasant but tepid, and I guess I kind of forgot about it. Jump ahead a few years, and I'm browsing the news, and I see a familiar face, the photographer, who is now in jail for an unprecedented collection of unique child pornography. Now, what makes child porn unique, you may be asking me. Let's continue reading. You know what I mean? What unique, nigga? What the fuck does that mean? That he made? What? What do you mean that he made? That he captured from people that were underage? Perhaps also overseas? More of which, authorities guessed, was on a hard drive with military-level encryption that they'd seized that the police couldn't crack years later. That photography tour of Europe? Yeah, he was in Thailand. Ooh. Bing bong. That one really earned the bing bong. It did. That one earned the bing bong. I don't say it often. That one earned it. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Jeez. Gross, man. What happens in Thailand, guys, stays in Number 24. Back in my raving days, seriously, in the early 2000s, before it got trendy, you gotta make it clear that I wasn't about doing that mainstream stuff. This was before it was cool, bro, okay? I got into ecstasy, deep into ecstasy. I used to subsequently became a small-time dealer. Whatever it takes. Small time over the course of a few months rapidly became pretty big time. I hope you're using a throwaway account, mate. One night after re-upping, buying more ecstasy to sell, I went over to my buddy's house to play Counter-Strike until the early hours of the morning. On my way home, I got pulled over. I had 2,500 green triangle ecstasy pills in my trunk. I pulled out my license and registration, laid it on my lap before the cop came to my window, and proceeded to be as polite as possible. The cop asked me why my eyes were red and asked if I smoke weed. I said absolutely not. I never liked weed. Weird, I know. I told him we were playing Counter-Strike for 8+ hours, and that's probably why. He ran my license, which was clean, came back to my car and said, "Okay, drive safely," and let me go. I left the scene shitting bricks. Had he looked in my trunk, I would have been arrested and looking at distribution felony and at least 12 to 25 years in jail. Not to mention it would have destroyed my life. I stopped dealing and raving after that. Today, I have a lovely wife, my own home, good health, thriving business, healthy toddler, and another one on the way. Talk about a bullet dodged. My life and the life of those I love would have been drastically different if it played out the other way. It should have. I am the lucky one. Yeah, go you. You did it. You got what you needed and you got out, baby. You know, that's the only way for a lot of young brothers to get out of the hood to make something is they gotta slang it. Y'all don't know nothing about that. With your privileged asses trying to spit out the spoon you were born within your mouth. You know what I'm talking about? Number 23, I was bouldering, unprotected, in the Owens Valley like an idiot, descending. I slipped, fell 6 feet down with outward momentum on a 10-foot wide shelf, only just stopping myself before the 50-foot drop to death. Still spooks the hell out of me thinking about it. What's bouldering, kids? Let's look that up. I really don't have time. Google it. You guys Google it. Somebody Google it in the comment section. I mean the stream chat. Do that for me. Love you. Jeez. Kira seems to have arrived. Hello to her. Hello again, Sadeja. Wonderful. Number 22. I almost fell for an MLM scam disguised as a secret business opportunity. What's MLM? What's MLM? Is that just like a pyramid scheme? Is a marketing strategy. Is that multi-level marketing? Yes. Okay, multi-level marketing is pyramid scheme trash. So there we go. Wait, what was that? Oh, it's an LED light. Yeah, I almost bought that. Yeah, I want it. Should put that on like a wish list or something. We don't have time for this. I'm going to read this guy's response because it seems to be the real meat and potatoes that we were looking for in this last post. Some guy goes, "Fuck me, right? 10 years ago, just moved across the country to transfer colleges, no job yet, looking online, newspapers, windows for help, wanted ads, etc. Finding a promising lead for a sales position that offers good wages and hours for school. The phone interview is pretty good, head to the office for personal interview, which somehow they slide it into job training, and it turns out that we're selling window tinting packages by going door to door. Like, what the fuck even? I finally get to them to take me back so I can leave. They ask if I'll start tomorrow, and I politely tell them to fuck off and ask for my wages for the training. They refuse, saying they never stated it was training, and I drop the subject because I would rather never talk to any of these pieces of shit for even one more minute of my entire life. Worst part is, there were 2 other people so desperate for work going through the same shit as me who decided to stay. That's what desperation tastes like. Forgive me. I'm so sorry that what you're going through is so intense. We really need to make it through these, rapid fire. Let's try to read fast or something. Is that what I do? Number 50. 50 crazy bullet dodge moments. Behold. You like that picture that I used for the thumbnail? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Wow. It's a picture of JC. He's like, I don't like that. You know what I mean? Okay. Number 21. When I was back in high school, I was walking near the field when they were practicing their discus throw, like a heavy frisbee, really heavy frisbee. One of the discus was wrongly thrown and was headed over my head. A friend who at that time was walking towards me saw and yelled for me to duck. The discus went past my head and landed behind me. Then I realized that I could have died if my friend hadn't warned me. Imagine a 2-kilogram flying disc lands right on your forehead. You dead, homie. Oh boy. Oh my God. Number 20. Senior in high school, and a pair of twin girls with obvious behavioral issues got pretty aggressive with me to fuck them both. Wait. Yeah, you already know what time it is. Seems crazy. They lived a block away from me, so we rode the same school bus. I was getting a weird vibe and definitely had a this is too good to be true feeling from it. Every day on the bus ride home, they tried to convince me to come over to their place. They were super trashy, white, chubby girls, and I just didn't know how to handle it. So I basically avoided them until I got a car and started driving home instead of using the bus. Eventually, after a month or so of stupid flirting and stalking, one of them got one of the other kids on the bus to hook up with them. He got them both pregnant, one with twins. They lied and said that they were on the pill. Both of them wanted him to marry them. And it got really bitter and nasty between the 2 girls. Parents kicked them out. Oh no. He was black and their parents weren't happy, baby. Oh no. Why did he have to be the one to fall for the whole trick? You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to think of like a good phrase for like a chubby white version of a siren. If somebody can figure out a really comedy name for like the sirens that kind of like sing to the sailors to make them crash into the rocks and then they die, but combine that with some sort of like white trash, maybe it's a chubby girl, she's sitting on top of a can of like blue ribbon or something. Wow. And then the dude had to bail on his college plans to support 3 kids and pay 2 women for child support at 18. They all got heavy into oxy and are in and out of jail. So when the girls are in and out of jail, you know what I mean? You still paying child support? You can't just get one custody for one of them? I don't know. That's your kid though, man. I don't know what's going on. Somebody said he didn't dodge a bullet, he dodged a firing squad. Oh, Lord. Number 19. I was traveling to somewhere on a highway behind a logging truck. When we were going uphill, the truck changed lanes and a log slipped off, bouncing between the car I was in and another car, and rebounded off the highway into a nearby forest. There was no one immediately behind us. Lucky, you guys, you know what I'm talking about? Number 18, really crushed on this girl, and she rejected me. About a year later, she had a baby with a guy. Turned out she'd been poking holes in the condoms that she was using because she was obsessed with having a baby. Man, I can tell you some stories about this girl named Jessie that was trying to monkey my balls. She was Canadian though, and she was all just like, she would tell me the craziest things about how she viewed kids, and she basically needed a pet. But she would say things like, no, I just love the idea of something being completely and utterly dependent on me. It's just like some kind of, you know what I mean? It's just like, whoa, get an animal. You don't need a kid. Number 17, when I was about 23, I was asked on a date by a Brazilian girl who was maybe early 30s. We went on a date, but it wasn't the most interesting evening. We didn't really click, and the language barrier meant we couldn't really get past basic conversation. You know, when there's a language barrier and someone wants to date you, it should be apparent that, you know, talking isn't what they're about. Bing bong. I was a little resistant to go on a second date, and I felt it was fair game to say sorry, I didn't think we clicked. Next time I saw her in person, though, I was berated with a bunch of insults hurled as she claimed we were supposed to get married and have kids and that I was the one. Very glad I was able to back away slowly and dodge that bullet. You know, it's so funny because there's so many people out there that are just looking for somebody, you know, to essentially worship them and like click with them immediately or something. This chick had barely met this guy and they were going on their first date and she regarded him as the one and thought that they should be married. Strange. Hello, everybody in the comment section. Here's a typical thing that Kyle would say to people in the comment section. Typical thing. And then you all go, wow, that's a really down-to-earth thing that he just said. I appreciate this guy. As we reach number 15 on the comment graveyard, that is the list of 50 crazy bullet dodged moments. My God. It reads, I was talking to this girl at a party, and I was really into her. I have some obscure interests, and she was the first attractive girl I'd ever met with the same interests. Well, my brother swooped in and charmed her way more than my awkward ass could hope to. I was pissed at first that he stole her, but got over it after she lied about birth control, got pregnant, and tried to convince him to marry her. The thing is, I'm a lot more go with the flow than my brother is. If I had knocked her up and she told me we needed to get married, there's a good chance that I would have done it. Then I'd be stuck with a person who I've learned is an absolute shit show of crazy, baby. Some people are so crazy, and I should say people, I mean women. That's not a funny joke. Somebody's going to be upset about that in the stream chat. I love you. Remember, the girls are in charge in the stream chat, so I can't hate them, right? Anyway, some girls are so crazy, man, that it would be like disrespectful to the word crazy to call them that. You see what I'm saying? As we travel up to number 13, the night of the Aurora Theater shooting in Colorado. Millennials, yeah, I don't know about that. Actually, the dude had weird colored hair. You remember that? He had funny hair. Aurora shooting. What's the name of the guy? This isn't about glorifying that guy. His name is James Holmes. And he shot those people. Here's a picture of the guy. He had stupid hair. Look at his face. He went into that theater during Batman and he shot those guys the hell up. Where was Batman? Oh, that's not a funny, you know what I mean? That's not classy. As we continue, we're going to go ahead and talk about what this guy had to say. On the night of the Aurora Theater shooting, some friends and I had planned to go to the Aurora movie theater for Batman, as well as we are all huge fans of Batman. One of my friends convinced us to go to a different theater that was closer to her since she couldn't get a ride. A couple of people were supposed to meet up with us. And they were in the Aurora Theater, but luckily they got out unharmed. I guess that's a bullet dodged. Yeah, it is. It is. Congrats. Well done, you did it. Let's get to number 12. Back in the day, you know, with dial-up internet, if any of you guys know what that's all about, I downloaded a malware which asked for credit card details. I was young and didn't have a card, so contemplated nicking my dad's and putting in the details. I didn't want to get in trouble. The thing was, the malware was asking for payment in rubles. At that time, I had no idea what that was. It was a different currency some other adults speak. So I come clean to my parents, and they sorted the rest. They also deleted LimeWire, you poor boy. But, you know, LimeWire came after Napster. So he dated himself. You little boy. You little boy. Downloading all. You remember Kazaa? I'm trying to remember what came out. I think it was Napster, then LimeWire. No, you know, it might have been Kazaa first. Ooh. Y'all don't know nothing about Kazaa, man. Kazaa and LimeWire. Sitting in a tree. Downloading illegally. Let's go ahead and go up to number 11. Don't know if it's a dodged bullet or a moment, but I felt like I did. Okay. Afghanistan a few years ago, having a smoke late at night with our local culture advisor, and a bullet whistled right over our heads for my very first time. I looked at our LCA and asked him what the fuck that was, and he took another drag from his smoke and, unfazed, said with a thick Pashtun accent, "You fucking idiot. That was a bullet." I don't know why he's like more French for me, but it's funnier if he was French. He's like, "Oh, sacre bleu." You know, what an ass. You should sit down with me before you get your head shot off by the next round. And well, what can I say? My LCA saved my life, because as soon as I did sit down, the Afghanistan dirt, another came whistling by. Wow. Thank you, Bilal. That's a pretty cool name. Bilal, guys. I was going to say, like, where have you been, Bilal, in my life or something, but that doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. What are you guys doing over here? I really want to know what's going on in the stream chat, but I don't have time. I have to continue. Forgive me, because I'm going to get cut off. I know it. Number 10. 2 girls I grew up with became my tightly knit friend group. We were the misfit goths in the school. None of our parents paid attention to what we were doing, and we had a total freedom at an extremely young age. One had anorexia, the other had a shitty home life. Those were their defining plights, so that's how I'm going to define them here. But I was also pretty messed up myself at that time. I had a crush on shit home life girl. We had been getting closer and closer, and suddenly the one with anorexia threw herself at me, like in some very not subtle ways, honestly. Really hard to turn down the offer in the moment. I mean, she literally coaxed me into her bed when I had been sleeping in her mom's living room. Messed up home life was in a sleeping bag on her bedroom floor. The anorexic girl really wasn't someone I was interested in, and messed up home life was staying the night as well as in the same room on the floor, so nothing happened. I just kind of slunk off awkwardly after probably at best like a small over the shirt fondle. She had no breast tissue, did I mention she was anorexic, and saying I wasn't feeling well. I just wasn't into her, and even though I was a hormone-crazed little youth, it felt wrong. I resisted the call of the siren and went back to the couch. To put to context how hard it was for me to turn down, I would have lost my virginity that night. Wow. Instead, I pursued the girl with the messed up home life. Yeah, a true story for heroes. The one with anorexia blew through the biggest, most dramatic fit I've ever seen in my entire life, including threatening suicide multiple times, like no one has ever topped it, and someone later on had a breakdown in front of me where they ended up committed against their will. Wow. How hard does a breakdown need to be for people to come in and be like, okay, you need to be institutionalized right now? That's the real question. Do you need to eat shit? Like your own ex, you need to just like cop a squat right there and then be like, yummy, yummy. All right, now it turns out the anorexic girl was just hanging out with my now wife. She wanted to have some worse off around her. Oh, wow. It's kind of like when some girls hang out with a fat chick because it makes them look skinnier, you know what I mean? She was just hanging out with the anorexic girl because she wanted, so that's messed up. No, wait, it turns out the anorexic girl was hanging out with his now wife. So bad home life is a girl that he married. Pretty sure that the anorexic girl didn't even like me in the least bit. She just didn't want the other girl to get attention, jealousy. She was trying to fuck up my chances with the sad home life girl to keep her under her skinny thumb. Good thing I kept it in my pants, because that night the girl I liked was actually awake listening to me turn down the anorexic one. 2, she liked me back a lot. We started dating. We were each other's first everything. I helped her emotionally survive her messed up home life, and somehow, miraculously, the messed up environment started fixing itself. Her mom got treatment or something. The more we were together, the happier we were. We both started volunteering and working on making our city a better place. We started saving, fuck me, how long is this going to go on? And now we're both the president and first lady of the United States. My name is Donald Trump. I'm kidding. I don't care. I don't care how it ends. These are too long. Get it, figure it out. You know what I'm talking about? I'm looking at you, subscribers. All right? Make it anecdotal. We need to do a list where I just mail you, what is the Skype window? Uh-oh. I wonder what did that Skype window say? Nothing crazy. So if somebody goes back and, oh, there's a thing where Hannah's going, love you, sweetie. Ha ha. So you all know that Hannah loves me now. Ha ha ha. I've betrayed it on my windows. I'm really just trying to move this over in a capacity where the text is big enough for you guys to see it. So excellent. We're reaching the last 9. So I'm going to go ahead and remind everybody that as we close out this list of 50 crazy bullet dodged moments, that my patrons are, sexy and wonderful people. Thank you again for doing what you do. You enable me to stay true to my ninja way, or some kind of Naruto reference. You guys see that Rick and Morty episode last night? I saw it today because I was so exhausted last night. LOL. It was all right. My favorite moment in that episode was when and I'll save it from spoilers in case people haven't seen it, but there's a scene where Rick has like robot versions of Morty and Summer, and just everything about them is fantastic. I like that more than the entire episode, so let that be said. Number 9, I just survived a heart attack on Thursday, so there's that. By the way, I'm 33, way too young for this shit. Well, here's hoping that none of us have heart attacks that are listening and watching this right now. Hello, everybody in the stream. No heart attacks, please. It's not cool. Don't do it. Someone else responds, I don't know what the proper response there is. Congratulations. Good luck going forward. That's just scary. Oh boy. Number 8. Before my wife and I met, she had a single date with someone. The date went fine, but she found him to be overbearing. He pulled his dick out for her to touch as an example. Oh, well, she put it lightly. You know what I mean? It's something, I just think he's overbearing. No, he just whipped it out. So they didn't go out again. They remained friends until 2 weeks later when he murdered his next date and set her on fire. You gotta know, when murder's not enough and you gotta burn a corpse up, make it crispy. It's not an incinerator, guys. They're gonna be able to figure out based on nails and teeth and maybe fingerprints who this person is. Got hair. This is like DNA Central out here. You know what I'm talking about? And this guy's gotta burn it. Come on. Buy yourselves a boat and dump the. I'm not telling you how to kill people, guys. It's terrible. This is terrible. This poor woman didn't deserve that because some idiot. And we live in the age of the internet. How hard was it? You could from the comfort of your own home find some slut on Tinder. You know what I mean? That's more than willing to get down in the giggity ass ways that you want to do. You got to find some chick that's not about it, then try to strong arm your way into that vag, and then kill and burn her. Like, why? But guys, you don't come here to feel and be sad. We don't want to think about the fact that there's probably somebody in a basement right now. There's no way to get to them because we don't know. How can we know? We don't know where they are. We don't know. Number 7, okay? When I was 7, strange, because it's number 7, I got lost in Spain without my family. I had been lost for about 5 hours, really late at night, and had been going down some dark alleyways and car parks. I started asking random strangers if they spoke English, but there were only middle-aged men walking around alone. One guy didn't speak English, but gave me a cuddle and took me back to his house around the corner. At this point, I'm crying my eyes out and just appreciated the help and kindness. When I got to his house, it turned out he had a family and the son was learning English in school. He got out his school workbook and asked me my name. Then they took me to the police station. You found a good man? I'm so overjoyed. My parents picked me up about 10 minutes later as they were driving around in the police car. That man could have been anyone, and I could have been kidnapped because you just went along with him, as some kids that are in distress would. And he took you to his son who is learning another language. That's wonderful. I'm glad when, like, the good ones that have been upvoted are towards the top. Forgive me, my soul is trying to leap out of my body. Not today, soul. A response to this reads, seriously, when you said cuddle, I was so scared for you. He knew what he was doing when he worded it like that. Son of a bitch. Number 6, my ex-boyfriend told me he was sterile. I started insisting on condoms anyway, just in case. Eventually, I broke up with him, and he currently has 2 kids with the girl he started dating after me. I'm sterile, babe. It's no big deal, babe. Come on. You need to wrap it up. Get that condom out of here, bro. Jeez, don't you love me? I know it's the first date, but I'm whipping it out. You wouldn't want to end up murdered and then burned, would you? Response to this reads, that wouldn't be really awkward if he was telling the truth and those kids aren't his. This guy just added another layer of unbelievable to it. What if he didn't dodge a bullet? Because the woman then baby trapped him by banging other people and then the kids aren't his. Who's thinking like this? You guys are on another level. You guys are on another. Did you guys say anything to me out here? Somebody said, hey, everyone. Kyle, how are you? I'm all right. Professional commenter says, yes, please, Kyle, change songs about butts. Change songs about butts? Okay. You know what the worst part is? Some of you are patrons, which means on a monthly basis, you give me a certain amount of money that entitles you to a song of your choice or something to the equivalent. So if what you genuinely wanted was some kind of like personally composed song, I'd probably be forced to do it because I'm all about my patrons, right? Oh my God, I love you guys to death. Number 5, not me, but I had a hand in it. I knew this guy in high school peripherally. He was in the cool crowd of rocker type guys and I was a nerd. New girl arrived at our school from another town and she and I had become friends, and a few months later she started dating him. At first she seemed cool and we would talk about everything. At one point, however, she starts talking about how she has been hooking up with her ex-boyfriend behind cool guy's back. Just before the end of the school year, she tells me she is pregnant and she knows it belongs to her ex-boyfriend. Ugh. She is laughing and really proud of herself because cool guy is going to do the right thing, withdraw his college application and go to work at the local gas station to support her and the baby. Her ex, the father of the baby, is kind of a loser, so she thinks it's the best thing in the world that she can fuck him while making cool guy support her. I didn't really know this guy that well, but I got his phone number from an acquaintance of mine who knew it. Cool guy knew I was friends with his girlfriend, but was still pretty surprised to hear from me. I told him about her ploy and said, get a paternity test, it isn't yours. The guy was incredibly stoic, but after a sizable pause, he just broke down crying for a few minutes, then thanked me. They broke up, and cool guy went to college and made something of his life. This was, what a bombshell in this one. This guy went out of his way to interject into a life that this hoe was trying to sabotage. So wonderful for him. He made it so that guy dodged a bullet. He took the gun. No, he didn't. She had the gun. She was firing the gun. And then he was like, excuse me. He pushed the other dude out of the way of the bullet. I don't think it gets any kinder, any sweeter, any more wonderful than this. You see number 5, guys? That's what my patrons are like. You guys are just so, thank you. Thank you for moving me out of the way of the bullet. How do I get away with saying this stupid shit? Number 4, okay. Number 4. I once went on a date with this guy who used the entire conversation to try and figure out how much I would be missed. What does that mean? The hairs on the back of my neck, oh shit, shit. He's implying that he would either be kidnapping or killing her. How much you would be missed. Dude, that's a really edgy and dark first thing to say to a girl that you're on a date with, man. Even if it's a joke, you know what I mean? I wonder how long it'd take for people to know that something was up, you know what I mean? And then he spent the entire conversation. What stopped you from leaving? You're on a date. You're probably in a public setting. What is the entire conversation? How long did this last? The questions. Anyway, the hairs on the back of my neck were tingling from the only time in my life as he asked me about every friend, family member, coworker, roommate, how often I saw them, how long I would go between texting and calling. Needless to say, I suddenly had 5 overprotective older brothers who were private investigators and cops. She says, I can't remember. My brain was focusing on the embarrassment of calling someone and sounding crazy, or just hoping he would take me back to my car. Oh no. You're crazy. You're crazy. Ooh, number 3. I once took a girl online out to a dinner at a nice place in our town. She was horrible to the server and actually got us kicked out because she called the manager a cunt. Sounds like a really classy broad. Tell me this is in the UK. After that, we were walking out, and she wanted me to go back to her place to watch a movie, which I refused and went home. 2 months later, I was reading the paper and saw her in the police blotter for assaulting her boyfriend with a golf club. With a golf club? Oh. Somebody said, good thing she didn't ask you to go clubbing with her then. Those poor baby seals. Guess what, guys? Number 1 and 2 have been deleted. I would bother us. Let's see. Somebody says I call that luck of being a dumbass. All we can assume is that someone basically lucked out of having themselves effed. And then the top one, of course, is deleted. Bad news again. Someone responds, my parents met and fucked in a mall bathroom. The condom broke and my mom's abortion didn't take. If you meet me, you really were not supposed to. I think this one is just saying somebody, the mom was going to have an abortion, but then somehow didn't, So there's that. You guys dodged that bullet, whatever, okay? There are about 50 other things that I had planned, but this will have to satisfy whoever's interested. So hello and welcome, and hope you're having a good day, morning, evening, afternoon. Who knows where you're watching this from? Kira says, what's Kyle got against UK broads? I don't have anything against you broads, sweetie. I just know that you guys are, I don't know. The scale here goes crazy, but hoes will calm down when they have an audience because they're shamed. But over in the UK, it seems like they get even more boisterous with the correct amount of people watching them. You know what I mean? It's insane. We expect certain kind of loud and obnoxious behavior out of drunk men in America. But in the UK, when everybody gets drunk, it's just like a bravado competition. I've seen women jump out of cars for road rage over there in such frightening consistency. Like, it blows my mind. We could watch videos like that on this channel all day. One day I'll just have a live stream and we'll just be watching fight videos all day. There's that. I was thinking about getting some things to put on these shelves in my room, but I have no idea. One of you should look up stuff on Amazon and just send it to me if you think it's cool. And then I'll be like, yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. And I'll put that on the wish list. Either way, love you guys. Somehow I made it through this list. How'd that happen? How did that happen? Narwhal says, I love the word cunt, not even the derogatory use of the word. Interesting. Why would Skyward go, I'm having Chinese food later, as her introduction to me in the stream chat? Why are you going to be rude? Like you're rubbing that in my face? I want some sesame chicken right now. I'm probably not going to get it for a week. You know what I mean? That's how you're hitting me. Sarah De Vera says, Kyle, I would buy you stuff but I am a broke college student. You already give me your attention, and that's what I really need. I'm kidding. As I lean into the microphone, I'm kidding. Seriously, your time is more than I could ask for. So thank you for even being here. When I get the chance, I'll rattle off some kind of, me playing a game for a confession podcast stream, because I recently re-downloaded Arkham Knight, so I'm very excited to play that and then just take the time for the stream. But until then, I will see you guys later. What's another list you guys might want to see? A lot of these are like redundant as hell, man. This one's good. Married people of Reddit, what is the harmless elephant in the room that won't affect your relationship but you never speak of? How would I even condense that into a... Let's not even get into it. Alright guys, I love you. My balls are starting to tickle me, which means I need to stand up and maybe scratch or reposition them. Oh boy, put that on a t-shirt. You know what I mean? I will catch you guys soon. Thank you again to my wonderful patrons. You're my everything. You are the love of my life. I really hope the music wasn't too loud here, because the levels on the board seem fantastic. But I don't know. I feel like you guys would have said something about it by now. Does anybody need anything? Everybody's fine, right? Yeah, you guys are fine. What? What do you need? Anybody need anything? Anyone need anything? No? Good. No. Hey, before I leave. Oh, man. I was just gonna get all hyped up because this list technically didn't have any child abuse or kid rape, as I have so affectionately coined the term, but technically, we had 2 entries, one of which a dude went to Thailand and was taking pictures of, underage women. And I can assume that if he was taking pictures, he probably went further. And even if he didn't, we can consider that kind of abuse rape on a certain level. And on top of that, we had a story where a counselor at a school was getting gross with the kids. So I'm sure something happened there if he got... I was so excited to get through that one. But we had 2 entries. We had 2... It's really weird, man. It's really weird how every one of these lists has some kind of incarnation of that. Well, I need to do happier lists. That's what I need to do. I'll ask the question, like, what's your favorite emoji? And then you can send in stuff like that. Because if one of y'all turns an emoji into kid rape, then you're getting banned. You understand? And some of the girls will find more creative ways to go crazy. They'll unban you just to ban you again. I've seen them abuse their power. Sarah De Vera says, oh, dude, I'm going to have to start the video over and enjoy the things that I missed. Good. This is here for you when that happens. You guys take it easy. Have a wonderful day or night. Sadeja, was wonderful seeing you. And Skyward, Kara, Professional, Lewis, Maskey. Everybody, you guys have a great time. Wow, take it easy. Wow. If you're bored, go check out the wish list and I'll see what I can put on there. Ha. Seriously though, go add me on PSN and then we'll play Marvel, because that game's free and you don't even need the online subscription or whatever, apparently. Because I only just realized that I didn't have PlayStation Plus and I was planning to get Darkest Dungeon again, but I don't care now. I don't care. So I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for being here. Bye. I'm like looking for the OBS window. I would have clicked end. Okay, here it is. Wait, let's check. Let's see if there's any disasters really quick. Sometimes I always, want to be on deck if something crazy happens, like somebody dies. Keep in mind. Nope, nothing crazy's What? Oh, it's just a Firo. Assholes. Player unknown battleground. Nigga, I'm done. See you guys later. I don't know what I'm looking at. Bye.